Welcome back to the channel, guys. Thanks for joining us for another video, and massive apologies for the other night when I promised a video. There is nothing worse than a YouTuber promising something at a certain time and it doesn't come to fruition. So yeah, massive apologies for that. But yeah, I've got a hell of a lot going on in my life at the minute and have done this year. By far this has been my best year and my worst year, which by that I mean it's been my best year financially with my businesses, and yeah, my worst personally. Have they had an impact on each other? Probably, yeah, they definitely have. I would say so anyway. And yeah, that's what I want to speak about, and I want to go into a couple of other things and try and get some messages out there for people who may be in a similar position. And yeah, it's not the best time of year. It's, you know, it's Christmas time. We're now Christmas Eve, and I'm sure there's plenty of lads out there of my age, younger and older, who are not in the best of situations, probably by some by no fault of their own, and some by all your fault. So it's all about taking accountability, and yeah, let's get into it and see what we can unfold. So yeah, business wise, best year financially ever. My business has successfully just bounced and bounced and bounced. A couple of other little business ventures. I'm doing my acting, I'm doing my vlogging and stuff like that. So yeah, I've been very, very busy, and with that, as my business has become very successful and reaching milestones that I never thought I'd reach at this stage. So yeah, all going good. That's the best part of it. And then the worst part of it is obviously I lost my father at the beginning of the year in January 2023. So this year, beginning of this year. And yeah, I struggled with it. I've never had my dad in my life. He chose a life of drugs instead of his children, and I always found that hard to deal with. I've lived with that all my life, and I've carried that through my life, and you know, it's abandonment at its finest. And yeah, have I used that as an excuse through my life? Yeah, I think I have. Is that the right thing to do? Definitely not. I could have dealt with it a lot better. I could have gone and got some therapy at an earlier stage in my life and dealt with the issues that I needed to. And yeah, it's all about, you know, that's important it's important to be there for your children for that reason, because they need you more than you know. So if you want to go out and get full of drugs at the weekend and not come home, and your family sat there waiting for you, that's only going to tarnish relationships with your family and your loved ones. You know, it does hurt you for doing it, and it hurts them more. And I have realized that the hard way. I've spent the last 7 years in a relationship with a fantastic woman who's now absolutely had enough of me and my ways. And yeah, I did change a few years ago, and I stopped going out and having my benders. We're all guilty of it, at least the majority of men, you know, from late teens to late 20s. I think a lot of us are all guilty of it, and we've all been there and done that. It's one of them. I feel like the only people that will benefit from this is the older generations around my age, who are just sick to death of doing it. I spent many years in a kitchen, waking up 2-3 days deep into a sesh, and you know, and then you got to go home and try and sleep that off and deal with the consequences, losing jobs. I've lost jobs. I've lost a lot of respect from friends and family and stuff like that, and mistreating my partner, who was my fiance. Yeah, everybody suffers. My children have suffered when we've got days planned out and I've not come home. And you know, I'm guilty of this more than anybody. And over the past 3 years, I have dramatically changed. I used to go out 3-4 times a month. For the past 3 years, I've been out 3-4 times a year. And yes, I am guilty of still doing the same things, because I never got the help. I never got the therapy that I needed. I never got the support or went to support groups. And with that, it continued to happen. I just managed to control the amount of times that I did that, which is not the answer. I seen Dapper Laugh's Instagram the other day. He was saying on a podcast that, and I remember this stage so well. I was probably around 24, you know, getting on almost 10 years ago. And I'd feel like I've earned it. I've rewarded myself at the end of the week for working so hard and having a bit of money in my pocket and thinking, do you know what? I'm going to go out with the lads and end up in a kitchen till silly o'clock in the morning till the sun comes out. And yeah, then you're shutting the curtains and sending people to the shop. It's a disgusting lifestyle, and I tell you something, it is not worth it. You will lose everything. Every single time you will lose everything. And there's plenty of you guys out there that will prove that and testify to that. I'm sure there's a lot of you that have been there, and there's a lot of you that's going through it. Now, I don't think the younger generation are going to be interested, because when I was back then and people told me, I was pretty much told them where to go. And if I didn't, I was thinking it. And just think, yeah, shut up, I'll do what I want. So I think either way, you've got to go through the motions. If you come up in life in that path, then you're going to take it, and you're going to have to go through these motions. But just know that there is help out there, and there's more help these days than there ever has been. So go and get that help, go and get it. I wish I did a long time ago, and I could have saved a lot of hurt and pain to me and my loved ones around me. But I've sat there pretty much this year dwelling and holding on to a lot of hurt and anger and hate towards my dad, which is not good. I mean, we've all had, I'm not the only one that's had a bad upbringing. I was brought up by my mum on her own, and he was taking heroin and spent more of his years in jail than he did out. He was found dead on the streets in January, overdosed. And it is what it is. There's people out there that have got a worse story than me, and I understand that, and I'm not here to grovel, and I don't want pity. What I want people like you who are going through the same to go and deal with it in the right channel it in the right way. Go and get the therapy, go and speak to people, and yeah, just deal with it instead of hiding it and bottling it up. I'm so guilty of hiding my problems to the back of my head, and I think, you know what, I can deal with that. And you put it to the back of your head, and really, you're not dealing with it. You're making the people around you suffer from it. And, you know, I don't regret anything I've done, because I wouldn't be the man I am today if I didn't do what I did. And that's my journey. And I believe any younger people coming up, I've met some young kids these days, 22, 23, they're halfway to being millionaires. And I'm sat with them saying, let's go and do business. It is what it is. I wish I was there, but we don't all get them foundations in life. We don't all have that. I mean, you look at Andrew Tate. I've spent a lot of time looking at Andrew Tate and his motivation stuff, and she don't, you know, the stop chasing women, and she don't care about you, and all that stuff, and it's not that good. I mean, I absolutely love the Tate brothers, I really do, and I think they do a hell of a lot of good for this world, and there's a lot of men that need them, and I thought I needed them. I don't need them for the reasons of women, because to be honest, I'm gonna fight for my woman, and in my head right now, I will get her back, and I owe her that for everything she's done for me and my family over the 7 years of hurt and pain, of me going out doing what I shouldn't be doing and saying things that I shouldn't say. That is my regret, and of course I've got regrets, but I can't sit around and sulk and mope around anymore. I've been so guilty of this all year. For the past 3 years, I've been in a different headspace. I'm such a motivated, strong-minded person. I've built my business. I've turned over 100K this year, and that's just phenomenal. I'm just some kid off the estate that had nothing. 10 years ago, people looked at me, they were worried about me. Honestly, people would have thought I was going to amount to nothing. And I set a goal at 35 years old, I'll be a multimillionaire, and I promise you that now. I'll sit here today and still stand by that. I will. But I'm guilty of slipping this year. Do I think the business, I put more energy into my business than my fiance? Yeah, that has got a huge part of it. Do not neglect your woman. You should always prioritize your woman. Keep her there, and if she's good and if she's loyal and you want to spend the rest of your life with her, then do everything for her. Not for yourself, but just do it with, obviously you've got to do it for yourself, but she has to be a priority. Your family have to be a priority. Now, there is times where you're going to have to sacrifice family time, but you've got to make sure you make up for that. Come back from your business trip and see them right. See them right and deal with it the way that it should be done. Not just moving on to the next one. Spend that time there, because otherwise everything you're building up for your family, you'll just end up losing it anyway. You've got to find that balance. And yeah, Andrew Tate is fantastic for his motivation successfully and to motivate you to get off your ass. If you're sat there on a computer game, you ain't doing nothing with your life unless you're designing them. If you love sitting there playing video games, then go and make one. Go and work for a company where you can make a major impact in the gaming industry. And then at that point, you're doing something you love, and you might even have your own gaming business in 5 years' time. You know, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And that is a fact. But make sure you prioritize everything that's important in your life. And yeah, I think Andrew Tate's, the thing is with Andrew, you've got a very strong, powerful, successful man who says he's come from not that much, which I agree, but at the end of the day, he had his mum and dad there. And there's a lot of us out there that didn't have that. And he doesn't know that struggle of his mum being 19, 20-year-old with 3 kids, single, dad's in jail, coming out, robbing their house, robbing the benefits, going, spending it on drugs, and then knocking at the door. He's flaked out in the alleyway, deal with this, deal with that. He doesn't have that, so he only has his perspective from his life, and that does not mean that he knows and fully understands. Now, this isn't disrespecting him, but you've got to understand that there's people out there that don't have the foundations. Now, it's no excuse from where you come from. I believe the worse you come from, the better you can be. And there's plenty of fighters, UFC fighters, there's plenty of boxers, there's plenty of actors. Look at Tom Hardy. There's plenty of people out there that have suffered and they've rose to fame and success. It can be done, it will be done, and you should do it. And I intend to do it. I intend to make a major impact in the acting industry, in the business world. I will be a multimillionaire. And yeah, I think sometimes for the younger generation and even people my age at 33 going through stages and stuff like this, he's never took a drug in his life. He's never experienced that rough, hard times without having his family support there. I mean, I'm sure we would all rather sit there with no food and have our mum and dad there than to sit there with your mum and a little bit of food. Everybody's different, everybody has a tough time. I've by far not had the worst time. I know people who are a lot worse off than me, but it's about taking accountability and ownership and dealing with this the best way you can. One day I will buy my mum a house and I'll take all her issues away from her. Not like she needs it. She's become very successful and dragged herself out of a horrible lifestyle of going through some traumatic experiences, as well as bringing up 3 children on her own. We all have our excuses, but we can't use them as excuses, but only as motivation and discipline to thrive, to do better in life. And that's the most important thing, and that's what I intend to do. But it's also important that along that journey, you do not neglect the loved ones around you that you're doing it for, because you will lose them. And I've been listening to Tate for the past few weeks, and I've been making notes trying to tell myself, fuck my missus, I don't care about her, there's other women out there and I don't need her, and this is good pain because it's gonna make me more successful. No, it's not though, is it? I owe this girl my life. She's hugely responsible for my successes, and it's my turn to fight for her. She's been fighting for me for 7 years. Well, I'm fucking off to a sesh for 2 days. And then I come in and lay in bed for 2 days, and then I don't go and work for the other 3. It's a full week of my life wasted, and hers and my family. It's not good. It's not good, and there's no excuses for it. And you know, dealing with addiction is hard. It's hard enough as it is. You know, never mind dealing with it on your own while still surrounded by it. That is the toughest, and that's what I did, and that's why I never got over it. And it's why when I still go out, I will still do it. The chances are I'm still going to do it, whether it be 3 times a year or 30 times a year. It's inevitable. It's going to happen because I've not dealt with it in the right way. You don't deserve it. You don't need to do it. And my advice would be not drink. No good ever comes from alcohol. You could have a couple of drinks and go home, but what's the percentage of people that can actually do that and enjoy doing that? Because I don't enjoy doing it. I don't enjoy drinking at all. I do when I'm doing it. It's fucking great, but then I don't want to go home. So is it worth it? Or should I just stay off the beer altogether? I've decided now I will never drink again in my entire life. It destroys me as a person. I'm lucky to not be in a box, whether that be 6 feet under or in a 6-foot cell. The things that I have done, influenced by drugs and alcohol, have absolutely destroyed my life for many, many years. And I tell you something, it's I feel lucky. I feel lucky to still be here, because the amounts that I've took of drugs and alcohol, I should be dead. And that's just in one sitting. You know, you can sit there and absolutely sniff your brains away. It ain't gonna change anything. You're curtain twitching, you're sat there wondering what you're gonna do so you get another one. It's not good. It's not a good life, and you will only live to regret it and the decisions that you make off it. I know people that have done it on a one night and they're 20 years in jail still. Like, is that what you want for your life? Because it's certainly what I want for mine. And I'm going to start exposing this and telling my story. It's not the worst story in the world. No, it's not. But I've been through some shit. I've been through hell and back. And if I can help any of you guys get through it and expose it for what it is and try and prevent it, it's all good exposure, and your life can only be better from it. So I'm sure the haters are going to say what they want to say. Have you been there? Have you done it? Because I tell you something, anybody that has will sit there and listen to this and they'll say, yeah, you know what, you're right, I don't want to do it anymore. And you'll probably still go out and do it. You need to go and speak to people. You need to deal with it head on. And that's the only way to deal with it. It's a vicious circle. And I'm sick to death of it. I've done it for far too long in my life. People like Andrew Tate, you've got to take him with a pinch of salt. Take what you can from him. He doesn't have the experiences we have. Go and listen to Ben Hatchett. He's turning his life around. Look at what he's doing. He was in prison with Charlie Bronson a couple of years ago. Look at him now. He's done a massive stretch. And he's come out and he's changing the world. He's exposing things for what they are and telling you that it's not good. It's great exposure for it, and now he's starting the street beefs. I've always wanted to do something like that, because, you know, what's the point in going fighting someone on the street and risking killing them or killing yourself? You know, that one punch does kill, and there's not enough exposure out there about that. I've been cracked myself. And my lip was hanging off my face when I was 17 years old. I got hit by a pro boxer and he ripped my lip off my face. It was dangling down my face, and I got a huge scar and a big bubble lip. I could have died. I could have died that night. There's been plenty of times in the town centre where I walked over and just cracked someone once and put them fast asleep. They're on the floor, not even, just literally snoring. Sometimes it don't even seem like they're snoring or breathing, and I don't even care at that point. And I've done that at least 5 or 6 times throughout my life, and yeah, it's not good. Then I moved on to thinking, oh well, I'll have a straightener then. If somebody wants to fight, I'll fight them in a field. And you know what? I probably still would do that to this day, and that's how I'd act. If I ever got a phone call saying, I'll go and meet them in a field on my own and I will fight them. But it's still not, it doesn't solve anything. It's not, I don't want to fight anymore. I want to be successful. I want to be a multimillionaire. I don't want to be sat in a club staring at some kid. Do you know what I mean? What do you want for your life? You know, are you happy doing that? Are you happy destroying the people around you? Are you happy to continue? Because I'm not, and I'm pretty sure you're not. And it's time to act now. Now's the perfect time over Christmas. You spend some time with your loved ones and appreciate and be grateful for absolutely everything you've got around you. Surround yourself with successful people who want the best for you, and only good can come from that. And the greatest successes come from having the freedom to fail. I absolutely love that quote. I live by that. And the other quote I live by is just never ever, don't be mad about what you've not got from the work that you didn't put in. If you want it, go and get it. And believe me, you can do anything you want. If you want to go out there and set up your own business, go and do it. Nobody is stopping you. Our reality is literally limited to our perception. So what we believe we can do and what we believe we can't do is what we're limited to in our reality. And honestly, the limits are endless. The limits are absolutely endless. And I'm going to prove that. I'm already proving that. And now I'm going to show you guys, and I'm going to expose my life and my successes to the best of my ability without exposing, you know, where I am and what I'm doing, so anybody can tarnish that, because that's the world we live in. You know, we have to protect ourselves as well. And I'm going to show you grow. I'm going to show you that I've come from a terrible upbringing, being beat by my dad, watching him beat my mum, spent most of his life in jail. When I do see him every couple of years, he's on the street corner, cracked out of his brains with his little skag heads. And that hurts. That's cut me deep. But I'm not going to sit here and sulk anymore. I've spent the entire year in reverse. And although I've been in reverse, it's still been my most successful year, which tells you what? Money is nothing. I don't respect money. I have no respect for money. I have no savings. I spend on what I want when I want. I'm impulsive. Of course I am. It is what it is. But my problem is, I don't see it, and don't take my advice for it, but my beliefs, my opinion is, if you don't have enough money to do what you want to do, don't stop spending. Go and earn more. You need to earn more money. What's the point? What's the point? I need to save a bit of money. I need to put £100 a week away. No, go spend it. Money makes money. Saving doesn't make money. What are you going to do? Sit there and die with 40 grand under your mattress? Give it to your kids? Buy them a house? My kids will have nothing. They will have none of my assets. But what they will have is they will be provided with a skill set by myself, and the mother they will have the skill set to be more successful than I was and way before my age. And that's all they'll get from me. And one day they'll buy me the car that I want. That's the way it's going to be. That's the way I am, and that's the way I will live my life. And I'm not saying you should do the same, but it's certainly not good going sitting in a sesh and thinking that that's your life, and it's not. It's only going to lead to you being down, depressed, having nothing with your life or in your life, and you will lose everybody you love. Everybody you love will literally leave you. Whether that be your mum, your dad, your sisters, they will all distance themselves because they do not want to be around it. They don't want their children to be around it. You're a product of your environment, and that's got to pay dividends. That's got to pay off. I believe that, as down as I've been, the majority of people, everybody that is surrounded by me, they will always benefit from my successes. They will always benefit because I like to give. And I give a hell of a lot. I have done. I don't tell anybody about it, but I give back where I can. I will do what I can because that makes me feel better about the life that I chose to live through my early 20s to late 20s. I spent and wasted a lot of my time, and I did a lot of bad things, and I believe I've had a lot of karma for it, and probably still more to come, but it helps me by doing the right thing to people, and that's the most important thing. And have I been guilty of not doing this with my partner and doing it with strangers? Yes. And that's one of the main messages here. Don't lose your loved ones chasing your dreams. Take them with you. And that doesn't mean that they have to come on board your business, which I'm guilty of. They can be there at home in the background and support you and do what they need to do for your children and you whilst you're going doing that. But it's important that you put enough time and energy into them, and it's got to be more. For me, it's got to be more than where you're putting it elsewhere. What's the point in having children and a family life if you're going to fuck off and spend half your time somewhere else? It's pointless. You're building something up for it to fail. It's going to fail. So take that into consideration. And let me know what you think about this, because it's a little bit different, and I do want to continue with content like this, and I want to bring some exposure to the generation of mine and the younger ones, because I'm sick of it. I've moped around all year. I have moped around all year sulking about my dad's death. Nothing's going to change. I think I dealt with it hard because I've always had the hope. I've always put it to the back of my head that he's not in my life and he'd rather go and sit and take drugs. And I've always thought, yeah, one day he'll be clean, he'll be in front of me, he'll be clean, and things will be good. And when he died, that was stripped from me. And I'm sick of sitting about and sulking, and it's damaged my personal life so much. And I'm not I'm not going to sit down and let it knock me down anymore. I'm going to fight and I'm going to rise, and I'm going to be 10 times stronger than I was last year, and I'm going to be 100 times stronger than I was 10 years ago. And that is the most important thing. You have to continuously grow and evolve and be who you want to be. You can do anything you want. Go and get it.